But to be safe, we booked a later flight, which is like 3 more hours wait, and to try to go to this earlier flight going right now. Guess how much they want per person? 1,280 zlotys. Let's do 3.6 zlotys per dollar. So do the math. Well, let's all just do it three. That's three to 100. They want like between 300 and $400 per person to be able to go on an earlier flight. Now, LOT, you gotta do something about this, you know? It should not be such astronomical prices, especially if I don't think this flight is full. So, yeah, we're gonna be waiting here another 3.5 hours because these astronomical prices are just not gonna cut it. Yeah, we're gonna be sleeping on the floor here, I guess, because, yeah, we're super, super tired. And yeah, we're not super millionaires to afford what it would be $800 to go 3 hours earlier. It would be nice if Lot would accommodate people a little bit better and kind of figure out their prices, especially if they have room on this earlier flight. So yeah, we get to suffer a little bit more. That's what travel is about. Sometimes you're happy, a lot of times you get to suffer. Okay, peace out. Maybe I'm gonna get myself a 40 zloty bagel, which is over like $12. But I guess I'm not in New York. I'm sure that would be like that in Miami or New York. But bagels for 40 zlotys, yay! In Warsaw Airport. So bye, people going to Gdańsk. Wish I was on this flight, but they want almost like $400 to do the standby thing here. So it's a no-go. And yeah, imagine there's some people who are able to traverse the world finding good deals, and they don't have to deal with such prices. So it's a risk. It's always a risk. If you want to go earlier flight and then you have to go through customs, or the other flight was late for whatever reason. So yeah, sometimes you take a risk, sometimes you don't. Tell me about your travel adventures down in the comments. When was your best and greatest adventure? And where was your least favorite adventure? Let's start a conversation, everybody. My least favorite adventure has been to Cairo. Oh, yes. They schedule things in the morning, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. flights, so you have to be there the whole night almost. Because to get to the airport, you gotta still fight traffic on those lovely Cairo, 22 million population highways. Our driver, though, was fantastic, 25-year-old. He maneuvers very gracefully, like a swan on the lake. And I was panicking like cat claws, trying not to look. Where people go slower, faster, they don't follow lines. You got whatever, you got the truckers, and you got tiny buses, all kinds of cars, shapes of cars, you know. Everybody tumbling down quite speedily. And then you got all these high-rise apartments in the dark night. It feels like ants, you know, like people living like in an ant colony. So much poverty that I saw. But people try to do the best of it, you know. A lot of the people we met there were pretty nice. We did not go to the pyramids because it is too hot, too steamy. I did not feel well. Something told me don't go, so we didn't get to see the pyramids from the hotel room. Maybe one day when it's cooler weather. We gotta choose. June is not the way to go. And yeah, the place where we stayed at, there's no walking areas at all. It was a main thoroughfare. You got to see the camels, the donkeys, everybody under the sun. Biblical times in Cairo. You gotta feel it for the people in huge cities. We visited Lima, Peru a few months ago. It's hectic, awful, pollution, like surreal, very surreal environments. I do not know how people manage psychologically to live in such areas where there's so much congestion, pollution, and population in one area. Does this mean these are failed governments? I would assume these are failed governments, centralized, where everybody has to find work like in one area. Like it's to me, these are failed governments that these places are hanging on by a thread. As you know, we gotta figure out how to improve people's lives worldwide. Will AI help, or will it enslave even more people, including educated people? Because educated people will not be necessary anymore. So yeah, we gotta take stock, everybody. What's important in life, what humanity means to you. Because I'm really tired of going to these million dollar, 20, 22 million cities and seeing all that deprivation. There should not be this deprivation. There should be affordable housing, free energy. Let people live good lives. These poor young children, these young people, they want good lives. Why can't we give them, with these governments, that opportunity? So yeah, I've saw Poland struggle through so many years, at least 4 decades of struggle, and suddenly they're popping up in the world scene with prices there. It's nice to see that Poland is improving. It took quite a while to get there, quite a bit of a fight. It's still a fight to be able to live the way you want to live without having somebody push things on you, including moral ways of living, family first, and not the other stuff. So Poland is hanging on. Other places like Cairo, I don't know, they're barely hanging on. Young people are nice there, but what's their future? What does the future hold? How can they even have a family? They live like ant colonies, like these high-rise apartment complexes is just. I guess you get used to it, but nature. This is the same. Uh, the same thing that everybody would like is nature and plants and flowers and things like that. When you have cement cities, I don't know, psychologically, I'm very impressed how people can tolerate and be that way. But the scammers, maybe that's a result of the depravity, of economic depravity that places like Cairo face. And you cannot get to the pyramids by stepping over people who have nothing to eat, or almost nothing to eat. So you cannot ignore this. So I really don't want to go back to the Egypt until Egypt government and somehow the worldwide bankers, whatever, clean up their act. Because this is ridiculous. This is not a restful vacation to see all that misery. But anyway, the Gdańsk flight is going and we are not on it. Because they want $400 equivalent to per person to change flights. Would be nice. But I guess some people, places are getting greedy. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao.